Hello and welcome to the iRacing Le Mans series presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and tonight I'm joined alongside by Sam Kuma, who's also on the cameras this evening. We're here at the Daytona International Speedway for week 5 of the championship. And so far, Sam, since we've started broadcasting this series once again, we've seen some fantastic battles at Nürburgring, in particular in the GTE fights for the lead. We saw some fantastic action, and I think this Daytona circuit, a slipstream fest, I imagine today. I think we're going to see some similar racing.
Hello, good evening. Yeah, this will be very different from the Nürburgring, I think. Maybe it will take us back to the Monza, because we will see plenty of slipstreaming here. And just by looking at the GTE field, I think the drivers are also expecting this, because let's put the cars on the screen. This is very much Ferrari biased right now on the GTE, and I believe Ferrari is known as the fastest car. So we'll see how the others get by here, but yeah, it will be a very different race from last week, and I'm kind of looking forward to see how this goes. Haven't myself yet had a chance to drive here this week yet, but I'm hoping to do at least one race tomorrow morning, but we'll see.
See, I did my two claims to being a decent driver is my win at Sebring 12 Hours this year, and also I did win the Daytona 24 Hours this year as well in uh, third split in the DP, I think, which of course isn't even a car in this in this race. So it's a bit. Or was it in the GT? I'm not quite sure. Either way, I did win. It wasn't that significant. I'm sure pretty much all these drivers could quite easily crush my hopes and dreams if they so wish to. 20 more seconds of qualifying. Of course, these drivers get 8 minutes of qualifying. They can set 2 laps in that time, and they cannot finish the lap that they start if the timer ticks down. So, for example, Sergei Smirnov, who we're currently watching, unfortunately, despite how fast that Ferrari is down the straights, he's not going to cross the line in time because 1 second to go and he'll quickly disappear anytime soon. And rather frustratingly for Sergei, he's not going to get that second lap in. We'll see where he's lining up on the grid right now because we are going through the grid. And it's Patrick Wolff, of course, a pro driver on pole position ahead of Matt Farah, who I believe is the championship leader. Fabian Van Doren, good qualifying from him in third. Klaus Dietrich Schultz starts in fourth with Jan Strange in fifth. And then it's Timo Hayden, Philip Eng, Alex Q, and Linus Technar. In the GTEs, we've got Jeremiah Morton on pole position with Johan Hart in second. Apologies. In the HPDs, Jeremiah Morton's on pole position with Johan Hart in second place. Then it's Arkadiusz Newman, Mike Owen, and Calvin Fraudon rounding out the top 5 in that class. And then in the GTEs, Hugo Prieto is on pole position by about 3.5 tenths of a second as well, so he's looking very strong out there. Christophe Bouquet is in second place with Michael Arian in third. There's Marcus Baumgart, TM Haynes, and Paolo Martins. It's top 5 in that class. And yeah, the rest of those drivers will cycle through for you now. Quite a few GTEs as we've come to expect in the iRacing Le Mans series. Difficult turn 1 here, isn't it, Sam? It's very narrow, it's very unique as well. And also, you've got a little bit of banking as well. So far this season, we've seen some fantastic first corners from the drivers, seemingly very experienced in this series, and they know just how to negotiate it without issue. But this is quite a test into turn 1 stage.
Yeah, this is really testing the guys' patience here on that turn one. Even in basically any class, really, the turn one it starts off so fast, but then it just keeps tightening and tightening up. And usually we tend to unfortunately see some issues there, but let's just see. Usually these guys are pretty good at giving up space, opening the gap between classes. So hopefully we will get through turn one without incidents.
Yes, absolutely. We want to see as many cars out there as possible. And of course, if you do pick up a bit of damage around this place, you're not in the best position for the rest of the race. And also, you don't want to lose too much time because it can turn into quite a mare for you if you're just dropping about 2 seconds behind the big pack of cars ahead. You don't get involved in the slipstream, and all of a sudden you can be having a very dull 60-minute race. Of course, a pit stop as well for these drivers. Expect them in around the 40 to 45-minute mark for all the classes. Usually it's the GTEs which go last, but of course it's a very high fuel consumption circuit this. So first it'll be the LMP1s to let go, and then it will be the LMP2s, and then the GTEs, the third fastest class, to round it off. The Porsche safety car is just approaching the pit entry now. There he goes into the pits, and the LMP1s are about to get underway. Patrick Wolf, good start for him. Matt Farey in second position, still ahead of Fabian Van Doren. Seemingly not too much change in that class as they go into turn one. And so far, no instance for those guys. What about in the HPDs? Jeremiah Malton still leading the way. Mike Owens got ahead of Arcadius Newman, and Almeida's also got ahead of Fjorden, so good start for him. And in the GTEs, just about reaching turn one, and they're so far in single file as far as I can see. Hugo Pate still leading the way, the top four in that class, all staying the same, with Paolo Martins getting in position. Also, good start for Ian Gagnon Rudont, who's trying to gain another position here, almost getting up 3 places on the opening lap. He might even lose a place now as they go into this second part of the infield section. Almost contact down the straight, and now he's under real pressure from the BMW behind that very big BMW, but the Ford Joe just about moves ahead, and Gagnon Runot gains 2 positions from this opening half of lap.
Yeah, I believe that was actually a small contact there, but I don't think it caused any damage there. But Gagnon Renault kind of now falling back to Dennis. And I think Dennis got a good run here on the back straight. But also Fredrik ahead of the... Oh, we might have something happening in the LMP2s. They are around the exit of the bus stop, that is Matthew Stagg and Jonathan Dance. They are just able to get away from there before the GTE field comes through.
We're running in the midfield in the HPD class. Fortunately, like you said, ahead of the GTE, so don't have to overtake all of them guys. It's very close for the lead in the GTEs. Hugo Prieto versus Bouquet, as we see, very close as well for the HPDs. We've got a car in the wall, and I think Porft might just be stuck there, stuck in the tyre barrier, and hopefully he will escape back to the pits. He does do so, so credit to him for doing that so quick. But he's back to the pits now. Hugo Prieto and is under big pressure at the moment from behind. He's just about pulled away now as Bouquet having to go defensive. And 24 car ahead of Michael Arian. But around this part, it's like it's so difficult to attack, and of course Arian will be thinking, well, we don't want to lose touch with Prieto, because Hugo, multiple winner, I'm sure, in this series, and as many of these drivers are, of course, but they don't want to lose contact because he was extremely fast in qualifying, seemingly staying within about 0.6 of a second, which is what you need to have a decent tow down each of these straights.
Oh, we might have an issue for the LMP1 of Matt Farrow. He is quickly dropping down. He was running second just a moment ago, but now he is all the way down to 7th in class. And make that 8th, and make that 9th. From second to last.
Must be a slowdown, that, surely. Although a rather hefty one. Usually lap 2 the slowdowns aren't too bad, but Matt Farrow, well, he's up to speed now. And, well, that is... There's probably nothing more painful, I think, Sam, in sim racing. When you get a slow, you just go a few centimeters over the curb, and that's really set him back in this race.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't see him having incidents, so he was just really unlucky there.
Oh, he's lining up these next few drivers. Maybe saved a little bit of hybrid energy whilst he was off the throttle. So we've got side by side just ahead. Teknau and Eng. Teknau actually up 3 places from his start place, so 9th, and you can see him pulling ahead now. Eng under pressure from Q. Of course, always a little bit of a struggle with the energy recovery around this circuit, as you can imagine, with the as a little bit of contact there amongst the LMP1 drivers. across so many straights and not a whole lot of braking points as Farrow is going to try to go around the outside of the pad. The man's got any extra energy to deploy. He's going to deploy all of it that he possibly can. He wants to get past these guys as quickly as possible. He's only got past one seemingly, and now will deploy some extra energy as he crosses the line. But well, he's up into 8th place now.
Yeah, he ideally would have wanted to get past Eng as well, but I think Eng also saw it coming and just deployed some energy as a defensive maneuver there. But now Farrow gets much better exit on the corner here, but Eng really covers the line there. And does Farrow have enough space or energy to make a move here? No, not quite.
It's really close as well for the lead of the LMP1s, which will make Matt Farrow more annoyed because is particularly in the LMP1 field and being such a quality driver that Matt Farrow is, it's rare that you have this close battles for the race lead, but Farrow at the moment is missing out on that. Perhaps he'll be able to catch up to these guys by the end of the race because at the moment the top 3 separated by 1.5 seconds. And you can see a bit of a gap back to 4th place driver. Timo Hayden has actually had a good start from 6th on the grid. Farrow's now got past Eng, by the way, so up into 7th place there. In the LMP2s, Jeremiah Morton is still leading the way ahead of Johan Hart. Good to see Hart back in this car. Is Hart the member of Apex Racing Team, Sam?
Who? Johan Hart?
Hart.
Yes,
Johan Hart.
yes, he is.
Yes, he is, yeah. Very good rallycross driver. I believe 2nd place in last year's Rallycross Championship, only behind a not too shabby driver, Mitchell de Jong. He's got some real world experience as well. So very quick is Johan.
Yeah, and I also see that Johan has uploaded his own profile picture for us as well.
Ah, very good.
That's a very good photograph that he has. I don't know if you can see it on your end.
No. Newman drops behind Fordant. So Fordant still, I think he held on to that. No, I think that was a change of pole position, not quite sure. But, well, either way, it's very close, isn't it? And Sulio Almeida, he's had a decent start in just behind these guys. And you can see Kevin van der Slik, who's quite a regular now on Apex Racing TV. He actually won Racecraft Esports, the Sim Racers World GT Gold Teams Championship, which is a bit of a mouthful. But he got a 3rd position at Brands Hatch in what was a fantastic race. Certainly do watch it back on the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel, or even the Facebook page as well. It was a fantastic race, and Kevin finished 3rd place and won his team the championship. So doesn't look like he's going to be winning the championship today. Certainly, probably wouldn't be possible. But having a decent run in 5th place.
Yeah, I was just taking a quick look at ahead of there. Almeida was catching up to Newman, but just backed off. Let's also take a quick look at the GTE, because the battle is really heating up for the top positions here. We get under attack from Michael Erian and Markus Baumgart. They have been really close here for the past few laps, and let's see like how this is going to play out. Also, I really like Erian's choice of lighting on that Ferrari. The orange really goes well with that yellow and black paint job.
I'm turning on trading paints as we speak. So I'll see what you mean. But I'm sure you're absolutely right. It's a good. We often get good liveries actually, especially in these top splits. Some professional painters, of course. Certainly KSW Painting. Thoroughly recommend them. Very good paint company. As we're going to see very close for Hugo Prieto, and if anything, just lifting off a little bit there is Christophe Bouquet, as the LMP1 now goes past. It's a difficult turn 1, this, I'd say. So I'm not just on the race start, but I don't know if you saw the World GT series from this track. last season. Of course, the World GT Series actually coming back on Monday, so check that out on Monday evening. But we saw probably about 15 spins in the GTE cars at that turn 1, just kind of getting caught up by that slight ridge in the middle of the circuit.
Yeah, you just have to really prepare it. Oh, Timo Hayden doesn't really have any time to prepare for the corner entries here, as he is battling with Schulze and overtaking these GTEs at the same time. As usual, going through our favorite... Oh, that was really close. Going through with our favorite camera angle here. But yeah, really close call with Hugo Preto, our GTE leader.
It's just going to get held up a little bit in this chicane. No, he got overtaken in time. Clearly, the well, I don't know. I don't know how OP the Ferrari is around this circuit, but Creator is certainly doing a good job in the BMW, which I don't think is particularly fancied around this place. But you can see the top four in that car, so it's so close.
Yeah, we have... That's how many cars of Ferraris are in top 10? 6 out of 10? Or am I not counting correctly? Yes, I am. Yeah. 6 out of the top 10 GTEs are Ferraris. Unusual to see Ford here lately, but that's actually welcome change.
Yes, absolutely. Good car, the Ford. Mistake from Johan Hart, seemingly. He was within about half a second of Jeremiah Morton. He's now 3.5 seconds behind, and under pressure from Calvin Fraudance, he lost nearly 3 seconds on that last lap. Did a 37 instead of a 34. And,
I believe that must have been slowdown because I cannot see any incident for him.
Right. Yeah, probably was. Oh, as Almeida and Newman side by side. And Almeida almost going all the way around the outside, almost spinning into his rival in the end. But Newman pulls ahead. Now can Almeida go for the inside into this next corner? Good defense from Arcadius. And really no way through at the moment for Sulio. That's the battle for 4th and 5th in this class.
Yeah, currently the LMP2 field has kind of spread out. The battles that we got going on is basically for the 2nd and this one for the 4th. But I believe because we got so much traffic going through here with the LMP1s that this will basically change all throughout the race. So I don't think it's by any means settled at this point. As we have a change of position, Baumgart overtaking Arian here coming through the front straight.
Yeah, they've lost the toe to the 2 cars ahead. They're now 2 seconds behind. And I think Arian was quite happy there to give up that position. Maybe feels like he's not fast enough to go catch up to the 2 ahead. See, a little bit of contact. They're not helping each other here. And there goes Arian again. So they were 2 seconds behind and now they're 2.5 seconds behind. They've kind of just wasted each other quite a bit of time there. And if they want to catch up to the 2 ahead, they're not giving themselves the best chance of doing that at the moment. And there might even be a little bit of damage now for the front of Arian's car. Spread out in the lead for the LMP1s. Patrick Wolf now 3.5 seconds. In fact, 4.5 seconds ahead of Fabian Van Doren. Klaus Dietrich Schultz still a competitive 3rd, with teammate Hayden keeping him very honest. And 4th, it's Matt Farrow, who's now up into 5th place. Remember, he dropped down to 9th after a slowdown on lap 2. So Farrow certainly giving himself a very good chance at a podium. This might maybe even a P2, but Patrick Wolf probably a bit too far up the road, despite the fact that Farrow was the fastest LMP1 on the track that last time round.
Yeah, Farrow was lapping around almost half a second faster than anyone else. So he's definitely catching up, but of course you're going to lose some time making those overtakes. But I think the 2nd place is definitely a possibility for him.
we'll just thank everyone for tuning in to this broadcast so far. And of course, if you have enjoyed it, please leave us a like. Also, of course, subscribe to the channel because we've got some fantastic broadcasts elsewhere. And also, like our Facebook page and also follow us on Twitch as well. We'd super appreciate it. As Linus Tech now makes a move. He was very fast on that lap, was Tech now. He was actually the third fastest car out on circuit, which, considering that he was in 7th place, is pretty rapid. And he's up into 6th place past Jan Stang. So, and Sparrow now going ahead of Hayden. Good battle or good rivalry these two have, two LMP1 regulars. And Farrow has now gained 5 positions from his lap 2 low and up into the top 4 now. Really fast on that lap, fast up the race.
Yeah, it was mainly just the last sector that was 25.8 compared to everyone else running around 26.4s to 26.3s. So it definitely used some energy there, and now he is kind of having to deal with the LMP2s as well, on top of trying to overtake Schultz for the 3rd place. Also, just to point out, our one and only running Audi is currently running last. So I'm not sure if that's due to the car or is that is just having some issues here. But I think that kind of highlights the BOP right now on this type of track.
Yes, many people not happy with the energy deployment, I believe, of the Audi.
Oh, and we have an issue in the GTEs. That's Bucket taking a different kind of line.
Yeah, 2nd position he was in. He was under increasing pressure from Michael Arian behind. And he's a long way off the 2nd, and that's the end of his day. You can see how much damage there was on that car.
Yeah, just taking a look at the replay right now. He had a small mistake coming out of the turn 1. Oh, got hit on the entry. And nicely parked there behind the tire walls. But yeah, as you said, that might be the race end for him.
Well, disappointing for his iRacing, certainly, although he should still be able to qualify for future top split races. We'll certainly hope to see him back soon. Smirnov versus Neinhardt. Here comes Neinhardt down the inside. Of course, you get the move done into the bus stop, but he might be vulnerable. That's a terrific run, though, through that corner. And Smirnov is going to be too far behind, I think, going on to the next straight, 4 tenths behind. And if anything, he's now under pressure from Ian Gagnon Lunar, as they all are going to close in on one another. 4 straight speed seemingly for the BMW just ahead, and Smirnov is really closing in fast. Here comes Renault, and Smirnov backs off, seemingly wants to save fuel. Ian is just going to go around the outside. Thank you very much. Can he take the 2 of them? He's going to try to make sure he gets 1. He's a little bit off camber here and just loses that position. Now, is he going to lose another position to the car behind? No, he can maintain that racing line. But just shows the difficulties of racing around this Daytona Speedway. If you don't go for the move on the car ahead, then you're leaving yourself very vulnerable to the car behind.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of surprising to see how much of a speed difference and speed advantage Gagnon Renault had there. So I don't know if he's maybe running lower downforce setup, or was that just the slipstream effect, as we have LMP2 coming through. Who is that? That is... Trying to see the number, that is number 2, that is Patrick Wolf, our leader for the LMP1.
Barrow's up into... So.
Yeah, that didn't take any time at all, because that, I believe, was the 2nd time he put a lap on the GTEs.
Yes. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So maybe putting a lap every 9 minutes or so. That is rapid. Matt Farrow's up into 3rd position now in the LMP1s. And it might be 2nd place soon. So go 3 wide up through the bankings, turns 3 and turns 4. I think that is at least. Is that? Yeah, that's now
Yes.
going on to the pit straight. And here
Yeah, a bit
comes
of a
Ferry
traffic.
to the outside. Is he going to be able to box in his rival? Well, he doesn't have to in the end. Schultz backs out of it, and now Farah can get a pick, pull away, and you can see how much time Schultz is going to lose. Has to flash the lights to get past, and even then it was very close, that move. And Ferry, he dropped down to 9th position, remember, and in the space of about quarter of an hour, he's managed to get himself back into 2nd place. And, well, in the past 5 laps or so, he's been a little bit quicker than Patrick Wolf. I wonder if he'll be able to close that gap despite the fact that it's now at 7 seconds.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that gap. Because I think Farrow might be able to push it, but we don't really know how hard he's punishing the tires running that kind of pace, and Patrick just maybe maintain the gap. Because he still has 7 seconds, so he can kind of relax and take it easy. As long as the gap stays above like 3 or 4 seconds, I think would be comfortable for him. Also, we have a change for the 7th position in the LMP1s. Alex Q overtaking Fabian Doran. Oh, and also are we missing Philip Eng? What has happened to Philip Eng? He is currently all the way down to 14th.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find out what has happened. Okay, this might be it. So we are coming to turn 1, and is that traffic that is... Oh. Huh. Interesting. I'm not really sure what happened there. It didn't look like he had any contact with the GTE, but he just decided to park it and go for the repairs.
Yep, so Eng probably out of the race perhaps, unless we see him later on. Of course, he's the first LMP1 retirement. In fact, he's one of only 5 retirements so far in this race, which is pretty late, especially considering that we've seen a few collisions so far. Here we're watching...
only 4 retirements.
4 retirements,
Julian
sorry.
Forte, he is currently back on the track and running.
Ah, good. Okay. Dance, who had a spin early on, is currently passing. Mike Owen had a decent start. He was up into 3rd position, I think, at one point, but way back now behind Holweck, and actually 14 seconds behind these guys. Not too much damage visible on his car.
Yeah, I believe he had an incident early on.
Was that with Dance, you think?
It might have been. But I just remember him having an incident and dropping all the way back.
Oh, very close
and
between the 2 HPDs there, and yeah, Holweck did well to not crash into the barrier there. Got a wheel onto the grass and easy to suck the car out into the tyres. He kept it on the circuit, so yeah, so Holweck now 3 seconds behind. Gonna be a tough effort to close that one back down.
Also, Kevin Van Basilik getting 5th place over Johan Hart. So I think they are struggling with this traffic here. Hart immediately back on attack here, trying to get their position back, but he's really struggling with the rear traction out of those slow corners.
I think Hart had another slowdown a couple of laps ago, because I don't think he was down in he was in 2nd place quite recently, but down into 6th place now. It's a big problem for Johan Hart. Of course, a multiple champion of this series, 2-time champion, I believe, of the HPD class in the iRacing Le Mans series. It's a very accomplished driver, but today not quite working out for him. Usually runs a very high downforce setup. I'm not sure around this place he would have taken a bit of downforce off, but often can struggle to overtake cars, but usually absolutely rapid in qualifying. It doesn't usually match that. You can see he's going to get held up behind a GTE here, and that's just the way that the traffic flows around Daytona. And you just have to hope that kind of balances out in your favour when it comes to the end of the race. Hugo Prieto pulling away out in the lead of the GTEs. 3 seconds ahead of Marcus Boomgarts now. Michael Arian still very close to the back of him with Paolo Martins just dropping off behind them.
And just a little bit behind them we got the battle for the 6th place, go side by side between Frelik and that is Smirnov. Smirnov takes the position. Going to turn 1, Frelik tries to keep it on the outside but just runs out of the grip. Looking for a cutback here. He's able to get the outside line, but that's not an easy move to make on the outside through that corner. But again, able to get a good exit out the corner. But I think right now they might also need to be careful with the LMP2 commit that is coming through.
Yeah, this is painful right now for Holwick. The mistake that Holwick made has kind of put them into this situation. And yeah, staying behind the GTs for pretty much half a lap, and it really does leave a lot of time for them.
And there is Holwick able to make the pass on both of them finally.
Yes, lost another couple of seconds actually there. Now 7 seconds between Dance and Holwick. And remember, Holwick was trying to get the move just 1 lap ago before a mistake at that very corner. So yeah, so currently Wolf and Ferry, that gap about maintaining at the moment, around 7 seconds. That's the lead for the LMP1s. In fact, actually going, yeah, down to 6 seconds. So
yeah, it's going down
a little bit.
Going down slowly. Furrow had great sector 4 last time.
Oh, and off.
Oh,
the fall is the BMW.
And who is that? It's Dave Clements, I believe. And that's a difficult position because you are right on the exit. And oof. He is able to continue, but I don't know, does he have any damage on the car? It seems like he had plenty of space there, so maybe he's able to get away without any race-ending damage. Other than maybe damage sprite. And yes, he is coming to the bridge. I guess that makes sense because now you can just do the pit stop and maybe get out of the cycle.
Yes, we saw Johan Hart also making a pit stop a couple of laps ago in the HPD fields. Maybe picking up a little bit of damage himself there, Johan. Hence why he was struggling a little bit for pace. So yeah, a little bit of out of sequence, and yeah, you can catch your rivals a little bit unaware when that happens. Rodriguez under pressure here from Dance. Dance down the inside. And he waltzes through into 6th position. We start lap 18. Still 10 seconds behind Kevin van der Sek, so a little bit tough for him. Still pretty close between Almeida and Newman, by the way, in the HPDs. That's about for 3rd position with Ford on just a bit ahead. About 2 seconds further up the road. But really, I think at the moment, so we're kind of seeing the thing of no one really wants to overtake. It's better to be the car just behind rather than the car just ahead. I think these guys are evenly matched, and they think, well, I can either be behind and save a little bit of fuel, or I could be ahead and punch the hole into the air myself. I may as well just stay behind at this point in the race until maybe the pit stops start to take effect.
Yeah, that's perfectly valid strategy, and let's say if you find yourself racing against someone who is faster, you can actually help yourself by just following him on the draft here. Because that way you may be able to even run faster than you would normally in clean air, plus you will be able to save the fuel, which means you will be able to take less fuel on the pit stop and lose less time on the pit stop. So even maybe jumping the driver you were following.
Yeah, of course, a very high fuel consumption circuit this, so if you can save a bit of fuel, Oh, as
Oh,
Almeida there. Ho ho. Well,
that
that
was
was pretty
twitchy.
much as close to a as a spin as you can get, and they're both really offline all of a sudden. Just getting a little bit yeah, a little panic there for Suilo because it's now invited the driver behind as well.
No,
No, that's
that's
sorry, that's a
lapped
back
car.
marker, isn't it? Yeah.
Also, we do have just we have had change for second position in the GTE class, as Michael Erian overtakes Markus Baumgart. I believe that means swapping positions, but now Erian is back to second. Oh, that is. Did you see the LFV1 coming through?
No, I didn't see that. I just looked away.
That was kind of sketchy there.
Ever so difficult in this middle part of the circuit. Anyone who's done any multi-class racing around here, of course, especially in a 60-minute race where you got to be absolutely rapid, it's just so now, and you really do need cooperation amongst the cars. Because say now that you're bound to understeer into the car that you're trying to overtake, so you just kind of got to give and take a little bit. And of course, often the more generous you are to the driver lapping you, the more time that you gain because you're not being pushed off the circuit quite as much. Baumgart's then staying behind, and it'll be interesting to see if he wishes to stay behind. Arian up into second place for, I believe, the first time in this race.
Baumgart
As
just got a good run out of the chicane, so bus stop chicane, so he might actually be able to make some kind of move here. As Erian seems to be sticking on the inside line, and is Baumgart going to lift off, or is he going to dive on the outside? It
just
seems like
backing off
he is just
seemingly.
going to back off, yeah. Actually, that was, I think, a smart decision considering the LMP2, LMP1s that they got coming through right now.
Yes, absolutely. Again, Van der Slik has just come into the pits in the LMP2 field. He's the second driver to make a normal pit stop. Johan Ha, the other, and Van Stek actually behind her with a 30-second pit stop, which is quite long. Usually we see more like 15 to 20 seconds. So I don't know if he's maybe picked up a speeding penalty there. But that could be quite costly for Kevin Van der Slik later on because well he was a little bit by himself. At least he might have a battle because now if Almeida and Newman pit, oh sorry, Dance and Rodriguez pit, then they'll probably be around his region. So I'll keep an eye out on that one. Over halfway through this race now. And yeah, expect the all the pit stops to be done within the next 15 minutes or so, and the bulk of the drivers coming in within about 10 minutes. Almeida now into the pit, so they're all playing quite early right now in the HPD field. Sam, do you think this is as far as the fuel goes, or a strange tactic because Rodriguez is also in?
No, I think they would be able to go much longer, but I think this might be just Almeida trying something different.
So is Almeida ahead of Van der Slik? He's miles ahead of Van der Slik, in fact.
Oh, and does
Has
he
he
run
just
a little
hit
bit
the
wide?
wall there?
Yeah, it looked
Oh
like so.
dear. The most common mistake, I think, in iRacing.
Yeah, let's just double check so we don't call him out for unnecessarily. Let's see, do we have a good camera angle on this one? Not really. Oh yeah, hard impact on the concrete wall.
So Almeida then ahead of Hart, ahead of Rodriguez, ahead of Van der Slik. So Van der Slik's lost out massively in that pit stop sequence. I wonder if something else happened to him. Because he was about 8 seconds ahead of those guys, and he's now about 15 seconds behind. So very bad for Kevin Van der Slik.
Also, Feorard from second position is also taking the pit lane.
Yeah, I'll say
So,
Jan Stang as well into the pits, although I
yep.
think that might be an issue for Stang because
Jansang is the LMP1, so that might be an
yeah,
issue.
yeah, yeah that car, that's not how it looked at the start.
Yeah, it's kind of covered by the tents, but there's
Yes.
definitely some damage to the back end of that Audi. Sorry. Meanwhile, our LMP2 leader, Jeremiah Morton, still staying out.
David Petts, thanks to you. You did a great, Sean. Which, if anyone saw that earlier on, you know, a head in hand, I think, right there. The oldest mistake. It's surprising that it doesn't happen more often. It's safe to say. But no, I don't think I've ever seen something quite as clumsy as that in FP1 of all sessions. You know, in the race, it's half excusable, but your first time onto the circuit and you spin it into the wall. Yeah. But thanks for that reference, David. As Jeremiah Moulton comes into the pits, perhaps just to cover off what all his other rivals are doing.
Yeah, we also have Newman coming in, so I think you might be right that this is the longest they will go with this limited fuel load. Also, Jonathan Dance is coming through. So now it will be interesting to see what happens with Dance. Where is he going to come out and relate to Newman?
Something happened to Almeida. Yes, Almeida's had to come into the pits for a second time, so issue for him. And
Yeah, it
that's
was
the issue.
Almeida. Yeah, it was Almeida and Dance who were having the battle, so that's the one I was looking for.
Safe
Let's
to
see, can I
say now
find...
that Dance is ahead. And
Yeah, it should be
if
because Almeida is way down, so I think this might be something to do with it.
I did.
Oh, oh dear.
Oh, and that was the 33 car of Dave
Dave
Clements. He
Clements, yeah.
has already been in a spin at that bus stop, I believe, and well, it's annoying that one because he tried to avoid it, and if anything, he kind of made it worse. If he'd just taken his normal racing line, he may have been okay there. But of course, it's so difficult to predict where the car ahead is going to end up. And that BMW's got decent brakes, but not good enough to avoid that one. Thankfully, still running in this race, and I think the only reason is because of the size of the BMW. It very much just knocks everything out of its way.
Also, it seems to have magical repairing capabilities because I'm not sure if I'm just seeing things, but one moment it had no front bumper or front headlights, and now it's in perfect condition. So,
Some smart technology in that BMW.
yeah, I was just about to say that fortunately there is lighting on this track. So if he would have had to, let's say, run a Nürburgring without the headlights, that would have been a challenge.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of, we do have a race coming up. A night race with a car that has no headlights, I believe.
Yes. Round a circuit which has no lights. So what can
So,
go wrong? That's the Dinner with Racers race on Saturday midday for Europeans. I think it's something like 10 GMT on Saturday. So I say Saturday, that's tomorrow. Indy cars at Moss Sports without any at night. So that will be interesting. No, it's quite interesting how the even the organisers don't actually know what will happen, which isn't always particularly positive. But I imagine some very high gamma settings are going to be needed for drivers' monitors for that one, along with Marco Barbaneris, because he'll be having to commentate on it all.
yeah, I think we had Lee Thompson taking some screenshots, and he said it was completely black. So I'm guessing Marco might need to do some radio commentary there, and maybe
Yeah.
get some video clips or highlights from previous runs. I don't know, or show cat videos, because I don't think he will be
Well,
seeing
I
anything on
mean,
the track.
yeah. And there's only one fast repair available as well, so I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of cars left very soon. Pit stops for the LMP1s are occurring. Teammate Hayden, the long pit stop. Very long pit stop. Other pit stops have been around 11, 12 seconds. His 28 seconds, which is, yeah, very odd for him.
Yeah,
And
currently
it's
just now
cost
leaving.
him bad.
No drama on the exit, but let's see. Patrick Wolf is the only one who has not done a pit stop yet, and he comes in for his one and only stop, which should be just a little bit of fuel, and that's about it.
Farah had a decently quick pit stop, 11.7. Gap, I'm not sure what the gap was. I think it was around 7 seconds. Of course, he has that pace car in front of him. Don't worry, he doesn't have to go all the way to the left or all the way to the right. He can go straight through it. So no issue for him there. 10.6, quickest pit stop out of the LMP1 drivers. And Patrick Wolf, as long as he can negotiate this pit exit nicely, which he duly does. And he's got a decent margin. It's 5 seconds. If Matt Farrow doesn't win this race, Sam, and it goes down and he gets to within 3 seconds, he'll be quite angry, I imagine, after that mistake he did on lap 2.
But now Wolf also had a kind of slow exit there. He lost half a second on that one straight alone, so that's 4.1. 4.5 second gap, sorry, to Farrow, so... Yeah, Farrow has been pushing really hard, but I think Wolf may be able to maintain the gap.
Few of the GTEs also coming into the pits, but the majority staying out for now. So the amount of fuel that these guys are using, a little bit more than we thought. We thought that they would all start pitting at this point, but instead we're coming to the end of the pitting as Hugo Prieto. We had about a 6-second lead into the pits. Michael Arian follows him in. Also Marcus Boomgaard. Those were the drivers in first, second, and third positions. Dennis Neidhart, will he come into the pits? Well, he's certainly gesturing that way, and yes, he does come into the pits. Stephen Brumfield, come on, mix it up. Store some fuel in your pockets and pop it into the fuel tank right now. But instead, everyone is seemingly coming in there, stretched as
Oh,
fast
and
as possible. As
Brumfield missed that
Brumfield
pit spot.
goes miles long, and oh dear, well, Stephen, sorry that we got that on camera.
As Preto comes out and most likely still out in the lead, yes. Arian is... did he catch up a little bit? Maybe. As it's still 5 seconds between Preto and Arian. Baumgart and 2.5 seconds behind Arian, so it seems like Arian had a slightly faster pit stop.
Yeah, relatively consistent there times. Yeah, all kind of 14 seconds. So it's that everyone now in the GTE. Yeah, everyone's made a pit stop now in the GTE. So everyone prepared to go to the end of the race. Unfortunately, a lot of the battles have kind of separated up and down the field. P1s, nothing really within a second. P2s, nothing really within a second. This is the closest battle out there. It's Haynes versus Sever. Or Severt, not quite sure. With,
also, there's Rainer Wiener behind him.
Yes.
So that's a 3-way battle really for the 10th place.
Also credit to Julien Fort out there. He had some big damage earlier on. Got back out onto the circuit. He's actually only just ahead of these guys. And is lapping. Or sorry, just going past all the GTs. So credit to Fort for staying out there. And of course he wants to get as much of his iRacing as he possibly can. Might go into dangerous waters here, Sam, but do you have any opinion on the whole iRacing per series or per car malarkey? Do you think that the current system is good, or do you think iRacing should be completely blind for drivers and it's makes us too competitive?
Uh, I don't really have much of an opinion on either way because I think, like, okay, per series makes no sense because you have new series coming in and new series going out. And really, I think for drivers, you just focus on the racing and not worry too much about the rating or safety racing rating, because if you start to be conservative about those, then you just start to lose the rating. If that's what you're worried about. So just have fun, just race. That's why we are here.
Absolutely, I think that's a very good mentality to have.
And I'm not saying that just because my rating has been on a nosedive for a long time, but
Well, it's good that it got up there in the first place, eh? You know,
yeah,
it's
10
better
years ago.
it's better to get worse than to never be good in the first place.
Yeah, right now it's lowest than it has ever been for me, so
Right. Okay. May I ask what it is?
I think it's around 2300.
Okay, respectable.
Yeah, but it's just I'm racing on this series and these guys are way too fast for me.
It is quite a demoralizing series, I must say this, because some very quick drivers take part in it, and often you can be in a little bit of a, even in a split of only about 20 odd people, you can have you can be absolutely crushed by the occasional 4 or 5K driver. Haynes defended, also trying to get past Sever. Weiner, Spiner just behind, as we see the LMP1 just going down the inside.
Yeah, we've been following this battle for a while now on the cameras. I think it's really the closest battle that we got going on the track right now. Although we do have a battle for 5th place in the LMP2s as well between... No, sorry, 6th place. Rodriguez and Kevin van der Zilk. Van der Zilk coming up. Trying the outside line here, but that's a really long way around. Loses the back end a little bit.
And stuck with an awful pit stop, lost 10 seconds, probably a speeding penalty. Oh, was almost off the circle, almost into the wall there. Goes Rodriguez, and Van der Slik makes up the position. He's got 4.5 seconds to catch up to Jonathan Dance. That might be possible for him. He was ahead of Dance early on. In fact, he was about 8 seconds ahead of Dance before the pit stops, but a poor in-lap and also a very slow pit stop. And he's a long way behind at 4.5 seconds, but was half second faster on that last lap, and they do clock up these laps pretty fast, these HBD cars. Van Stig has got to drop Rodriguez, though, behind, and also they got Owen closing in, who, of course, had that spin in the very early stages, and since then has just kind of been trying to claw his way back into contention, and he's just in the background of a few of these shots. That's yeah, another GTE. They get past 3 classes into 1 corner, but they all negotiate quite well. Really pulling away now is Van der Slik, down to 3.5 seconds. He's really closing on Darts very quickly.
Yeah, that's surprising because I thought their lap times were more or less equal, but now Van der Slik is really catching up. And Rodriguez is just falling behind right now, so of course Rodriguez is not really getting too lucky with the traffic either. Trying to stick behind the Porsche right here. And now, oh, that's a really difficult place to make a pass. And the Porsche driver was not making it any easier for him either.
Yeah, it's one of those where even if you do make the move, there's not really much of an advantage because it really compromises your exit. Often better to stay behind. Usually quite a consensus, at least in the split that I was in the Daytona 24 hours. You know, just stay put in that corner, don't make any moves. As Forts has had another issue.
I believe so, because I was kind of cheering for him because he was going up the field in the GTE traffic, but let's see here, he is going driving with Johan Hart and misses the entry and off to the tire walls.
Well, if they had animated drivers, I'm sure the helmet there would be shaking left to right in disappointment as he slammed into the tyres. And unfortunately, I was commending his resilience earlier on. I think his resilience may have just been broken after that. Brumfield closing in. This the battle for
That
13th?
is 12th, I believe. Yeah,
Well,
that's Kasper Valentin in front. But maybe not for too long.
Brumfield down the inside. Lots of a very wide part of the circuit that turn two, so he can go for a dive like that. And well, he's pulled it off as Stephen. Very good move, and he's up a place. However, you can see a little bit of damage on that car, certainly on the rear wing. So imagine his straight line speed is probably a bit compromised. Might be an opportunity for the car behind Valentin to fight back imminently.
Yeah, they're also right now catching up to Smirnov, who I believe had some issue just a moment ago because he is just falling back constantly, and now I think he's coming under attack from Haynes here on the Porsche. Yeah, Smirnov really missing top speed because that's just Haynes was able to really close in on the entry. And even on the exit, Haynes is just accelerating so much quicker out of the corner even without the draft. So somehow Smirnov just needs to gather as much positions and points as possible for the 90 minutes remaining, so we'll see. I think he will be under threat from Weiner and maybe Valentin and Bramfield as well, but Blazak Remenu is 18 seconds away, so that might be too far.
Smirnov there, 10 seconds slower than he has been elsewhere in the race on the last lap. So yeah, must have picked up that damage there, and Severa into the pit, into the wall. He was only just ahead of those drivers. Seemingly not too much damage for him. Can he stay ahead of, well, he's lost out to Valentin there, but ahead of Brumfield still.
Oh, and that is Valentin ahead of Bramfield. So they've
Yes.
swapped positions again.
And there was about a 1 second gap between them as well. So maybe a mistake from Brumfield, maybe a slowdown. And Severa is now straight into this battle as well. A little bit wide goes the BMW driver. Can Brumfield stick it down the inside as he did earlier on? No. So a few mistakes perhaps creeping in. Hugo Prater, by the way, still leading the way in the GTE field. But he is only 3.5 seconds ahead of Michael Arian, which is a little bit closer than it's been for the past half an hour. So, just riding on board with Brumfield here, really struggling for straight line speed, Sam. Do you think he's, could that just be set up? Or do you think he's maybe saving a bit of fuel?
No,
Or
I
is
think
that
it's
damage?
it's the damage on the rear wing. Because I don't think you would take intentionally such a high downforce setup for this track, where you definitely need the top speed. And at this point, I don't think you would need to save fuel unless you really underfuel the car. And I don't think we even heard him lifting off there. As we have battle with Severt going by Valentin, or is he? No.
Well, Valentin staying around the outside will have the inside for the next hairpin. Almost contact there, and off the circuit goes Severt. So Valentin does get ahead. And Christopher there will be quite pleased he's not in the wall. So nearly contact between those two as they just pass the pit exit wall. But Casper gains a position, still 6 seconds behind. Viner just ahead. Lead of the overall and the P1 class, Patrick Wolf. It's down to under 4 seconds. I did say after the pit stops, if this gets down to 3 seconds and Matt Ferrer can't get the move, he'll be annoyed at that mistake earlier on. Remember when he eventually got past all that traffic they had to deal with after dropping down to 9th place early on, he was about 7 seconds behind. He's pretty much half that. I think he probably lost a little bit of time getting past drivers as well. You really question, was this an opportunity for Farah to beat Wolf today? But it looks like he's just going to come up short at this point of the race with only 6 minutes to go, unless he gets a bit fortunate with some traffic, which is very possible.
Yeah, he did get a bit fortunate there. I think Wolf lost half a second, but then again, I think he might have again gained just by using the energy. They are just very even. Sector 5 was so much faster for Wolf, so it's really hard to tell like what are the strengths and weaknesses of each driver here. As Farrell really catches up to the Ferrari in bad spot, have to run wide and definitely lose a few tenths there.
Oh, Wolf very
Oh, what's
slow
Wolf?
though.
Yeah, look at the gap to Wolf. That's totally 1 second lost in the first sector.
But now Farah's getting held up, I think. Yeah, oh, this is going to be very awkward for Matt Farah. And you can feel the disappointment for Matt Farah as he swaps the other way. That's a good jump from the GTE. You can see Farah leaving no prisoners, and that half a second that he gained, he all of a sudden loses. And that's just how it is for the NFP1 field. You think that you've gained some crucial time, and then almost as quickly as you gain it, you lose it. But well, I guess it's guess so far in this lap, it's been fair between the top two.
And meanwhile in the LMP2s, we still have Jeremiah Morton leading with, let's see, what's the gap? 15 seconds, so I think that will be fairly safe as long as he can keep it on the track. But he is definitely not easing off at all, looking at the lines he's taking through the bus stop. Let's see, Calvin behind him. Well, Newman is within striking distance, but looking at the lap times...
Good last lap there for Newman.
Yeah, actually, you know what, that's true, because for some reason Verarden is having some issues with the lap time, so what is actually happening there? Could he be running out of fuel?
Turn 4.
Yeah, that was on the entry of the pit lane, so is he worried about the fuel? Because I think we've seen that before with this series, especially in the LMP2s.
Well, 1.6 seconds lost in the last 2 laps. Fordance has been within about 3 seconds of for the majority of the race, but never have they really got especially close within striking range. And still 2.4 seconds the gap between the two of them. Only 1.5 seconds, and he's closing in. So this could be, if only we had an extra couple of laps. I don't think these guys are getting quite meet one another. If we had an extra couple of laps, we could have had an almighty battle for the podium places.
Yeah, I just want to listen to it and see here if he is having to save fuel on the entry of the bus stop. No, doesn't seem like it. So I'm not sure what is the issue that he is carrying right now.
Well, this has been a better lap for him. And the last couple of laps did a mid 36 and also mid 35.
But that was also exceptionally poor second sector for Newman.
Schultz into the pits from 4th place, from 3rd place even.
Yeah, 3rd place.
Tech now up into 3rd position. So from last on the grid, I believe, was Linus. He's up into the podium places. What a fantastic result this is going to be for him. Alex Q, nice result for him as well in 4th place now, from 2nd to last on the grid. And Fabian Van Doren, after a bit of an early issue, up into the top 5. Schultz with a, well, that's a long pit stop. 18 seconds I've got coming up on my screen, which considering that you needed a splash and dash is rather long, and it's perhaps lost in place to Van Doren. 11 seconds behind Van Doren now, and a 6th place for Schultz after fighting for the lead in the early stages. It's going to be a disappointing result for the Audi driver.
Yeah, that is unusually long pit stop. It's twice what the normal pit stop would have been, so did he perhaps get a penalty somewhere? Because I don't really see how you would end up with that long pit stop otherwise. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to take the tires here, and if it was just fuel, you would only take maybe few laps at most, a few liters at most.
So race leader has started his 40th lap. This is going to be it, surely. Yes, it will be. Only 30 seconds to go, and they've got about half the lap to go. Over half the lap to go.
Also, we might have an issue for Johan Hart. He is dropping down, and that could actually be... Did he get disqualified? Because I see him going off track, but it doesn't say that he actually had a crash.
Oh, that's a crash.
That's a crash and a half. And that was also a disqualification.
Oh, right, okay. Double whammy. Do we know who the GTE was?
I'm not exactly sure, but let's see, we have... No, that's Severt. That's a different GTE.
Then we gotta go to the race leader, because Patrick Wolf has won in the overall and the LMP1 classes. He beats Matt Farrow by, in the end, 2.5 seconds. Farrow closed and closed and closed, but an early error perhaps was decisive. Hugo Prieto has won the GTEs. There he is in his BMW, 2.5 seconds ahead of Michael Arian, and he controlled that from start to finish. We are going to catch the end of the HBDs. Jeremiah Morton, and this has been far more comfortable. 16 seconds ahead of Calvin Fraudant, and he wins in the HPD class. It's close though for second place. Here we go, Fraudant versus Newman. We could see a photo finish here. This for second position in the HPD. He's trying to squeeze him to the wall. There's almost a bit of contact. Newman is going to get it right at the end. He spent the entire race behind Fraudant, but in the end, it's only at the very end where it counts, and he beats Calvin Fraudant by 1/10 of a second across the line. Got a few more drivers just crossing the finish now. Is there any close battle? Seemingly not. A few HPD still to finish, but Sam, in the end, the LMP1 and that LMP1 race lead, it could have been so much more. I think if Farah hadn't have made that mistake, could have seen a proper to and fro battle between Wolf and Farah, and in that GTE race lead battle as well. Prieto always just seems to have enough. It was constantly about 3 seconds that gap for the entire race.
Yeah, and then in LMP1 and in any class for that matter, it's very rare to see someone dropping all the way to back and then going all the way back to the front again. So that's just a drive of the race for me, for Matt Farrow. But I think Wolf also might have need to take a look back and see where Farrow was gaining so much time, because that's definitely going to have to be a worry for him. But Hugo Prieto just dominant drive, as we see him park on the start finish line. And is he doing some donuts? If you are, you do need to turn off the traction control, Hugo.
I'm surprised no one's learned how to draw like words and pictures by driving on the grass, I'd say. I'm waiting for, like, you know, if you could drive your sponsors into the grass, that would be as a, you know, if I was the head of a business, that would convince me. But no one seemed to have learned it yet. And Hugo seemingly wanted to make an indent into the Daytona tarmac there, and making a very nice BMW noise as well. He is the winner of the GTE field, the winner of the LMP1 field, Patrick Wolf, and he won by 3.3 seconds ahead of Matt Farrow. Linus Tech now, great result from him. From 9th place on the grid, he finishes on the podium with Alex Q in 4th, There's Fabian Van Doren in 5th, Klaus Dietrich Schultz in 6th, and Timo Hayden, unfortunately pretty much retired. He was 3 laps down in 7th place. The other drivers in that class were Jan Stang and also Philip Eng, both of them retiring. In the HPDs, Jeremiah Morton won out, and it was a comfortable victory over Arcadius Newman and Calvin Fraudant. Newman just going past Fraudant right at the end of the race. Jonathan Dance finished in 4th place with Kevin van der Slik after a poor pit stop, finishing in 5th. Jorge Freire Rodriguez finished in 6th, with Mike Owen after an early spin in 7th. Then it was Maria Holwick and Johan Hart, who just got disqualified with a couple of laps to go. The retirees there were Julian Fort, Sulio Almeida, who was having a very good run, and also Matthew Stagg. In the GTEs, Hugo Prieto won out by about 3 seconds over Michael Owen, just controlled the race superbly, did Hugo there. Marcus Borgard finished in 3rd place with Paolo Martins in 4th. Then it was Dennis Neidhart rounding out the top 5. Behind that was Luka Berlich, Alex Kraus, T.M. Haynes, Sergei Smirnov, Rainer Weiner, Casper Valentin, Christopher Sever, Stephen Brumfield, Blas Remniai, Philip Salinas, and then Dave Clements and Chase Alvary. The retirements there were Jerome Yanni, Christophe Bouquet, Ian Gagnon, Runar, Mitchell Balanek, and Matthias Eriksson. Also Dominic Sichau as well. We have got one of the race winners. It's Jeremiah Morton with us right now. And Jeremiah, congratulations on that race win. 16 seconds from our perspective. Looked like quite an easy race victory. How was it from yours?
Hey Sam, and hey Somali. Yeah, it was incredible race tonight. I wasn't expecting to sort of have the pace that I did, and I was really worried with Yath right behind me. Daytona is a very slipstream dependent track, and with him just maintaining the gap, I thought we are gonna have a two-way battle at the end of the race. But unfortunately for Yath, I think he got caught up in some incident after lap traffic and stuff. So, but yeah, it was an awesome race out there tonight, and I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. How was the traffic out then? Have you got much experience of multi-class action around this circuit, like the Daytona 24 Hours? How did you? How were the other drivers in terms of aggressiveness out there?
I feel like the GTEs were pretty good out there. I've done a couple of races this week, and I think that the GTEs were probably the best in that race out of all of them. LMP ones were pretty good. I had no issues with them at all. So yeah, it's just a little bit awkward when you catch an LMP one on the with a GTE and with an LMP two on the chicane on the back straight. But other than that, it's pretty good. I've been doing a lot of endurance racing and the endurance Le Mans series as well, so have had some experience with traffic, and definitely paid dividends tonight.
Next week we head to a classic endurance circuit, a classic circuit full stop. It's Spa, and it will also be an evening race as well. How do you feel about that one?
Oh, I'm so excited. Whenever there's a endurance series and also Le Mans series at Spa, it's a big week of racing, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a brilliant track in the LMP2 car, especially through Eau Rouge, so very excited.
And also, do you hope to stick with this car to the end of the season? And what other kind of series and whatnot are you currently racing in?
Yeah, definitely. This is I've been dedicated to the LMP2 for the last 3 seasons or so. Last season managed 7th in the overall driver standings, and then 1st in the iRacing Endurance Le Mans series. So I feel really comfortable in the car, and currently leading the overall standings in the solo series. So it's been a really good season so far. I'm looking forward to hopefully keeping the momentum up and maybe possibly picking up a top 3 or top 5 in the overall standings.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck for that one, Jeremiah. And is there anyone you'd like to thank?
There sure is. I'd like to thank my teammates at Rev It Up Racing Esports. The incredible support that they provide has been really encouraging. But also like to thank our sponsors, Pagnian Imports, Lenovo, and of course Rev It Up Racing. Without them, I wouldn't be racing, and I wouldn't be enjoying myself as much as I am.
Thanks, Jeremiah, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Love the broadcast. Keep it up.
Thank you very much. So that was Jeremiah Morton there having a chat with us, the LMP2 race winner this evening. I think that pretty much rounds out our interviews and pretty much our broadcast of the iRacing Le Mans series this evening. Of course, we've got plenty of other series on Apex Racing TV that will be coming up tomorrow. We've got the dinners with racers, like we were talking about earlier on. Moss Sports at night in the IndyCar. You know, that sounds fun. No doubt about that one. And we've also got the Simulators Asia series as well. Then in the evening, we'll have personally, you know, the race that I'm most excited about, the UV8 Supercar Series. That'll be round 1 of the championship, and that's always a fantastic series. So certainly catch that one. That'll be at 18:15 GMT. On Sunday, we will have the Aussie Mixed and Fixed series at midday. And, well, if anyone didn't catch it last week, it was fantastic fun. Reverse grid, you know, 40-odd drivers. It was superb to watch. So certainly recommend checking out that one. And then on Monday, we got the return of the World GT series, which is also fantastic fun. And trust me, the quality of driving in that series this year is going to be quite exceptional. Pre-qualifying had to be done, and now the drivers who are in that series are top-notch. So it's going to be super competitive. I thoroughly recommend checking that one out. Of course, we'll also have the BSR MX5 Amateur Cup as well on a Monday, and then of course, you know, the IMSA split, the Aussie IMSA split, the other BSR TC events that we show, and of course next week we'll be back with the iRacing Le Mans series at this same time slot at Spa-Francorchamps for for an evening hour-long race. But for now, from me and also from Sam, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.